Healthcare for the Talk 365 team is provided by BodyRenu.
And welcome back to the show. That's Holly Love. I'm Trip Mitchell. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful summer morning. And we're going to talk a little thyroid.
Yes. Speaking of mental health awareness, in our last show we were talking about how it's important to have the conversation happening year-round, not just in May, even though May is a great time to do some really special things. But one of the biggest things with thyroid is depression, fatigue, low libido, weight gain, and it's one of those things that runs the body. So if there's something wrong with your thyroid, pretty much all of the above could be wrong, and you could be trying to treat all of those other things and still feel terrible because the thyroid is sort of the master in charge.
Thyroid sounds like a scary word.
It could be a scary word, it could be a scary condition, mainly because a lot of doctors, the way that they test for it, there is a level of normal that actually you don't feel normal. Go see Dr. Rodgers, because his margin of what he considers normal and how great you should feel is a lot narrower. He looks at it a little more closely, he dials it in, and then of course he does bioidentical hormones and a lot of other amazing things that can really change your life and make you feel so much better. So check him out with our Talking Wellness with Dr. Rodgers from BodyRenu. Here you go.
Talk 365's Talking Wellness segment is brought to you by BodyRenu with wellness team expert Dr. Brian Rodgers.
Hey everybody, I'm Holly Love and welcome to our Talking Wellness series. Today I am back with Dr. Rodgers and we are going to chat thyroid issues, which is a problem a lot of people suffer with, right?
About 1/4 of our country
Really?
suffers from thyroid problems.
Wow, okay, well let's dive right in and let's talk thyroid, because this is one of the many things that you have helped me get under control in my world. So what exactly is this thing?
Thyroid dysfunction, obviously the thyroid gland that sits in our neck can stop producing the thyroid hormone, but it's more complicated than that. Our brain talks to our thyroid, so if that communication is off, that causes thyroid problems. Our thyroid makes hormones, and those hormones circulate in our body. That hormone's called T4. It doesn't do a lot. However, it converts into T3, which is the active hormone that connects with our cells, that sets our metabolism and helps us have the energy we need to do the things in our day.
So thyroid kind of runs the show.
It sets the metabolism of the body.
So
and so if your metabolism is not there, you've got lots of symptoms.
Yeah, let's talk symptoms.
Okay, the biggest symptom is fatigue. You gain weight. You can't lose weight.
Tired like you've never known, by the way.
There was a time where I was at a medical conference. I had saved money. I was real excited to be at this conference. And these were two very famous speakers. And in the afternoon, I was falling asleep during their lectures because my thyroid was off. And I was so excited to be there, but I was still falling asleep.
You can't override that kind of a symptom. Okay, so now I'll let you move on beyond tired.
You can have dry hair, dry skin. You can even have your hair fall out. You can have swelling, constipation, depression, low libido, all kinds of symptoms from thyroid.
I had heard that if you have a low thyroid, your eyebrow hair can fall out as a sign.
It can. The outside third of your eyebrow hair can fall out. So you can look at all your friends, and if they're missing that, send them my direction, I'll help them.
Exactly. Moving on from symptoms, what tests need to be done to find out what's really going on?
Okay, the most common test that we use to test for thyroid is the TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone. It's produced in the pituitary gland in the brain, and it tells the thyroid what to do. Well, the theory is if the TSH is working properly, the brain's happy with the thyroid hormone, no problems. There's a little bit of fallacy with that thought, because we have to check some other things. You can check the T4, which is made by the thyroid, but more importantly, you have to check the T3. That's the hormone that interacts with the cells of the body that really causes us to have proper metabolism. If that T3 is off, nothing's working. And so there's a feedback loop with the T4 from the thyroid gland to the brain, so the brain can mistakenly think there's enough thyroid, but there's not, because there's not enough T3. And you really have to check that T3 if you're having these symptoms.
And that is something that most doctors out there don't test for a regular thyroid yearly physical screening, right?
That is correct.
So if you've gone to your doctor and had the testing done and been given a clean bill of health and you're still feeling horrible, don't be scared, because they look at things from not as close of a window of how you should feel good, right? Let's explain the testing and how yours is so much better.
With the TSH, most labs have a normal range of 0.4 to about 5, 4 or 5. If you look at most international societies, they have the range from 0.4 to about 2. And so if your TSH is 3.5, 4,
You
could be
horrible.
having all kinds of symptoms,
Yeah.
but you don't get treated.
By most doctors.
That's correct.
Yes.
I check and make sure the TSH is between that 0.4 and the 2.0.
I love it.
But beyond that, you have to also look at that T3.
Key. Let's talk diet, because diet is a huge part of what you do here.
Thyroid is a very important gland. In fact, it's a sentinel gland. You remember the stories about how the miners would used to take canaries down into the mine,
Yeah.
and if the canary keeled over and died, you had to get out of the mine because there was poison gas. It would tell you there was a problem. Well, our thyroid does the same thing with our bodies. If the thyroid starts having problems, it's a sentinel gland and it tells us there's further things wrong. If our diet is off, if we're having too much stress, those things can affect the thyroid gland. So if you're eating a proper diet and reduce your stress or manage your stress properly, that thyroid gland can then function better and properly.
And as far as diet goes, you have Miss Tara here, who is a lifestyle manager, right?
Absolutely.
A lifestyle coach? What is her
She's a
official title?
lifestyle educator. She teaches about diet, she teaches lifestyle, exercise, meditation, and all those things, and she helps you follow up so that you can do the right things for your thyroid.
So beyond taking supplements and medication, when you're told, hey, improve your diet, and that is just overwhelming, you have a resource and someone to talk to. And I have to tell you, coming to Tara has been a breath of fresh air for me, because for me, I have an athletic background. I was a ballet major, and so anytime I've ever had trainers or people coaching me on my diet, it is very 2 + 2 = 4. And when that equation is off, that means there's something wrong with me, meaning you must have cheated, Holly, because you've gained weight or you haven't lost or something's wrong. She understands what's going on in your body and helps you stay motivated and focused and on a plan that is going to actually lead you to those results. Let's talk about the supplements and the medication beyond diet.
Okay, well, with thyroid treatment, you want to do stress management, you want to have proper diet, you want to have proper supplementation. You want to have a proper balance of supplements and nutrients for your body. You need the B vitamins, you need selenium, you need zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, and some essential amino acids. All those things help to balance the thyroid. And if they're not balanced properly, your thyroid doesn't work. And you asked about laboratory before. We do check many of those nutrients to make sure that they're balanced in the person, and if they're not, we supplement those. We also need to talk about reverse T3. Our body is a complicated piece of machinery, and it's made to withstand all kinds of stressors and such. And so at times of famine, our body creates more reverse T3, which blocks the regular T3, and it allows us to lower our metabolism and to live longer. So often if we're on the wrong type of diet where we starve ourselves, we shut off our thyroid, we shut off our metabolism, and we're counterproductive in our goals.
And you're going to gain weight.
You're going
from
to
not
gain weight.
eating.
You're going to gain weight instead of losing weight.
Exactly. So it is a tricky little balance, and pretty much all you need to understand is he tests it all. So let's go to the big guns, which is if the testing comes back and diet and supplementation is not enough, medication.
Then we can do some medication. We can give some thyroid hormones, either T4, which is often given, and if that alone doesn't work, we use T4 and T3 combinations. That helps most people. And we can do some other types of medications to help support the thyroid if they're needed, if diet and supplements and stress management don't work. If you get on thyroid medicine, a lot of people think if you're on it for life. But that's not necessarily so, because if we can get the proper diet, nutrition, stress management, we can often get off those thyroid hormones.
You dive in and go the distance, and that testing and the follow-up testing is huge. One of the diseases that's really prevalent out there, Hashimoto's. If you've got it or you've got a friend with it, it's tough.
It is tough. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease that attacks your thyroid. And as it's attacking your thyroid levels can go up and down, so it's very variable. It's very frustrating for a person to have that. Hashimoto's is associated with gluten intolerance and gluten problems.
Yes.
Many people who have gluten intolerance have Hashimoto's, and same with Hashimoto's to gluten intolerance. So one of the treatments for Hashimoto's is to reduce or eliminate gluten out of your life. We do lab testing to test for Hashimoto's. We do antibody testing. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease, and it's important for us to find the people who have that. It goes undiagnosed so often. If you have Hashimoto's, you're more likely to catch another autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. Nobody wants those diseases. So we want to get Hashimoto's discovered and treated early so we don't run the risk of getting other autoimmune diseases.
Absolutely. Now, your thyroid and adrenal glands, I always kind of associate those two together. Is that true?
That's correct. Our whole endocrine system is all associated. Our adrenal glands, our thyroid, our sex hormones, even insulin is all related in here. However, if our adrenal glands, which are located at the top of our kidneys, if those become dysfunctional, they often drag the thyroid into the picture and the thyroid becomes dysfunctional. So as you're treating thyroid, you have to make sure that the adrenal glands are working properly, and if not, you need to treat them. Adrenal fatigue or other adrenal diagnoses have specific treatment plans, and it's important to understand what's going wrong and to treat it correctly. We're able to do that here. Also, sex hormones can affect the adrenal glands and the thyroid, and if we balance those, that can help with the picture too, if that's needed.
So you work with bioidentical hormones. We've done a segment about this, so if you're interested in getting the full story, be sure and log on to our YouTube page, his website, to find our interview there, because we dive into it really deep. But just a quick overview, because I didn't realize the connection between thyroid and hormone dysfunction, and I didn't know the two were related. And thyroid problems are known to run in my family, but most of my family has similar symptoms that I did that are probably hormonally related, and they're on depression medication.
Absolutely, and so as we fix hormones, we fix thyroid, that can help depression. Now, not everybody with thyroid problem needs sex hormones replacement. Most people don't.
But it is connected.
They are connected and they're interrelated. And often if we fix the thyroid, it can help with the sex hormones.
Now I want to talk just a little bit about your background, because you are not like all doctors out there. You are a DO, and there is a difference in terms of why you chose the school you went to from the beginning, because you are open to the idea that your body can learn how to heal itself through diet right out of the gate. That's the difference between a DO and an MD. I'm learning this slowly, but look, I'm paying attention. I'm getting here.
All right, MDs are great, and I'm very grateful for them. They really learn how to do the research and attack a disease and take care of it. MDs do a great job. DOs look at the problem from a different point of view. We look at the person as a more holistic standpoint, and you need those two different points of view. After I left osteopathic school in Kansas City, I became board certified in family practice medicine, the same certification as many other family practice doctors in the area have. From there, and got some training, probably 200 hours of classroom and then a lot more in book work through the A4M, the Anti-Aging Society, and so I've got a lot of training there. Then I went and got certification in bioidentical hormones. Then from there, I went to the Institute of Functional Medicine, Dr. Hyman's group, and I've just became certified from the Institute of Functional Medicine. That allows me to have a better perspective to look at a problem. From having these different certifications, I can look at a situation from many different angles so I can get to the core root of the problem.
If you are struggling with any of these things, and most importantly, if you're at home right now and you've been with a doctor, because that was my situation, and if you've been sent home and you don't feel good, but you've been told you should, you need to call this guy, because he will listen and he will be able to actually bring something to the table as an answer. If people call in and they mention Talk 365, you are offering something really special, and I thank you for it.
I am happy to offer this to the viewers of Talk 365. I will give them a free consult to discuss their thyroid problems, and let's get to the root of the problem and then decide where we need to go from there.
And usually that's $100 to be able to come in and sit down with Dr. Rodgers and obviously take of his time. He's offering it to you for free. If you call in and mention Talk 365, you can come in, talk with him, sit down, figure out what's going on, and make a plan to feel better, because that's the goal at the end of the day, right?
That is correct.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Rodgers, again, thank you for your time. As always, I love chatting with you, and I love knocking out these myths and stigmas that are out there in the world for people who are struggling with health issues, and I love that you solve them all. You
well,
make
I
my
enjoy
life
doing
easy.
this.
I love it. Well, don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back on Talk 365 right after this.